Hi again, John Cisniewski here with a second word of encouragement for this generosity journey that we're on together. And this week, I hope you'll find my own personal journey to be an encouragement to you. My journey began in college. I attended the University of Iowa, and I had just graduated before moving back to the Chicagoland area. I was working some summer jobs while at the same time, I personally was finding my own way back to God. I was in my college apartment while I was listening to a Christian radio station, and I didn't even know that Christian radio was a thing. And I don't recall everything the pastor was saying on the radio program, but it did have to do with generosity. And he was sharing a story in the Bible that we often refer to as the parable of the talents. The master God, he entrusts these three servants and instructed them to be good stewards, if you will, of what he had given them. And the first servant, he was entrusted with these talents, and he wisely invested them and returned even more and then received God's favor. And same with the second servant. He invested those wisely and he returned back to the master and he received God's favor. But the third servant didn't do much of anything with the talents that he was given, which really broke God's heart. And right there in the living room of my apartment, I felt like the Holy Spirit said to me, I want you to be like that first and second servant in that story. I want you to be a good steward of everything that I entrust to you and use it wisely and trust me with it. And right there, without hesitation, I went over and I picked up my checkbook and I wrote a $30 check to the radio ministry because $30 at the time represented 10% of what God had entrusted to me that prior week of work. And I had never given before in my entire life. And no one taught me to do that, but I did that right there in my apartment for the first time, and I've never looked back. And while I didn't give to get, I've never gone without, and I have enjoyed an amazing journey of generosity and growing closer to God. I want to share the Plainfield story. This group of people, many who are still a part of our church, took what God had given them and they invested it into this location. And because they did, it came to be. And now over the last 13 years, the return on investment has been just extraordinary. And it can't even be counted because it's in the thousands of people who have now found their way back to God. So I hope my story and the story of the Plainfield location is an encouragement to you on your generosity journey. Until next week.